Okay, we should be back live as Gaffo does start his first lap, hooking up the curbs pretty well immediately, but having to back out already. He's got Pumba doing some donuts at the final corner with damage already, so Nathan Wayu's going to be the first driver to take the start here in Jeddah. What's he going to be able to do as it looks nice and clean through this first sector where you require all the commitment in the world and that stability from your aero setup as well. Nice over the curb there, and his first sector comes out to a 32.6, very competitive already. Through now the long, I believe it's turn 10 at this point already. Got Nathan hanging it nicely, and he's going to be going through the awkward little chicane where the walls beckon you, and he keeps it out of both of them very nicely. As we come down towards the end of this second long straight, the second DRS zone on the track, and it's a 101.1 at the end of that middle sector. What can he do through the final sector? It looked very nice through chicane of 21 and 22. But now it's all about the commitment on the brakes into that final corner now. Got a yellow flag in sector 2 as people are letting drivers on hot laps by. And onto the main straight as Pickle Alex finally gets into the session. Nathan's going to come across the line to set our first lap here. What's he got? It's a 28.4. Good first lap from him. The Viper already finding 3/10 on Nathan. And then it's one of the Red Bulls. Shano looks up on Nathan already. What time does he have in the pocket? It's only a 28.5 thus far in the session. John's boy next across the line. 28.4 just ahead of Nathan. And these times should tumble for the entire session. Richie comes across the line. He finds time in that final sector to go fastest. Bluefoot can only go 6th as it stands. Tick subbing in for Vroom Vroom this weekend. Comes across the line. P7 only a 1:30 as Yari comes across to do a 28.7. We've got one of the Hasses just starting a lap in the background. Solar goes up to P8 on that start-finish straight. As we wait now to see Lucas Spurs in the middle sector going very deep indeed. Another one coming to the line. Metal, invalid lap as Fran, rapid as always, goes to the top. It's a 27.7 off the rip. The pace already looking strong out on track. As we wait now, XD Tyler on an abandoned effort here. Lucas Spurs without time on the board, but Billy Wiz is going to be our next driver across the line. He's kept it valid. It's P9 as it stands for him. A very unrepresentative effort of Tyler, putting himself P12 right now. FaZe Monkey, unfortunate to have already invalidated his lap. We'll wait for the next two drivers, 2 set laps to come through. It's going to be Metal and Jitarachi in tandem on the track, attacking the Jeddah Corniche. Looks very neat in this middle sector so far for Metal. What can he do? How much straight line speed does he have to gain time in this final sector now? Comes across the split. It's at 101.4, so a little bit down, but if he has that speed in the final sector, and it's going to be helped by this Mercedes in front of him, he is going to get a beautiful tow from the Mercedes car. That might be Solar, who gets nicely out of the way for him and into the final braking zone. Nice and committed, gets the car rotated through. What's he going to be able to do as he comes to the line in a couple of seconds' time? It's only a 29.0 for the time being. Behind him, FaZe Monkey is going to be coming across the line shortly. He can only put it for an invalid effort thus far, as the first runs are beginning to conclude themselves. And it's just very unfortunate for... Oh, and FaZe Monkey pushing again in the wall, and he's out. In qualifying, loses the rear in the complex of the first sector. And that is not what you want to be seeing as a driver out there pushing everything to the limit. And it ends up in the wall for you. We're going to be back with Gaffo now, who was initially going to start this session, showing us what could be done. What can he hook up now on a valid effort? I think he just abandoned his tyres and went again. Looks a little bit unstable in this first sector from the rear end, just coming around a bit more. But maybe this is the rotation he needs It's a 32.6, matching where Nathan was on his opening effort. What can he do though? Through this middle sector, Viper's improved into the 27.8s now. So times are going to tumble very quickly through this qualifying session. And it's going to be who just nails it when the time comes at the end of the session, because by all means any one of the top 7 at the moment could be on pole come the end if they hook up a great lap. The end of the first middle sector, Gaffo 101.0, so he's looking on great pace, and the straight line speed in his car is going to be almighty as we go on board with him for the final corner now. How brave can he be on the brakes? How committed is he? He gets it through nicely, straightens up the car and exit, and there was no issues there at all in his car. He should be on for a very good lap here. What is it going to be? It's a 28.1 from the Williams driver. XD Tyler pulls into the pit lane, but we've got Pickle Alex out there at the moment on a lap, just barely up on Gaffo in that first sector. What's he going to be able to do in the middle sector? He's lost so much time. He might have abandoned here, flashing very early indeed, and he has. Lucas Spurs still needing to hook something up. He's very competitive on his day. And what can he do? It's only a 32.9 in the first sector. Vinny, I believe, just about to come across the line. He can do a 29.8. But that's not going to be good enough as the times stand. Back to Lucas Spurs now. It looks very clean and tidy through this middle sector. Pumba it's down to P18 now as Pickle Alex at 31.8, but surely going to be going again with all the battery he has left in that car. Through the middle sector comes Lucas Spurs, and it's a good lap thus far. Nothing's looked too wrong with it. It's whether he can keep it together in this final sector, where the final braking zone beckons you after a lap of trying to hook everything up, as your tyres are screaming already. He comes out the final corner, leaves more margin to the wall than most drivers have, but if we remember what happened to Verstappen, that's not a bad idea. And it's a 29.0 as everyone now, apart from FaZe Monkey, with a lap on the board. Gaffo is just behind, pulling into the pits after his set of efforts. And now we just get to wait a little bit as everyone seems just to be out there getting ready to set laps. One of the Red Bulls of Shano starting his lap, and everyone kind of in tandem here. It's one by one right now. With Aston, I believe that could be Fran there, starting the lap in between both the Red Bulls. So how much space does he have on the track? One of the fastest drivers out there at the moment. But what type of impediments may he have on this run from both of my drivers in the Red Bull? Obviously, neither of them being guided to block him on this run. But in the first sector, up a little bit on his lap. And as it goes through turn 13, it looks very nice and neat through there, keeping everything tight and well held together. What can he do in this middle sector? It is rapid. He is launching that car around this track. He has the confidence of a god as it stands. What can he do at the end of the middle sector? Will he be able to keep it that good in there? It is. It's 0.3 of improvement for Fran. In that middle sector, he's on for a very good lap indeed. Around this circuit, he has that car hooked up exactly where he wants it to be. And into the final corner, what's he going to be able to do? As the lap concludes, keeps it nice, just a little tap on the wall, helping straighten up the car. And he's going to come to the line, and surely there is a mountain of improvement, and it is that 0.3 that he had improved on. The two Red Bulls are behind, but both of them had to abandon their laps. Metal Medal comes across the line to start a lap as Tix unfortunately disconnects from the session. I do not have him added, so it might be a struggle to get him back in. We're going to be riding with Lucas Spurs now on his next effort. He needs to find something a bit more representative than a 29, because knowing his pace, he could be much higher up. But in the first sector, he just doesn't have anything. Just not able to carry the speed that a lot of the other drivers are able to. Seen a lot of 32.6s, 32.5s, 32.4s in this session in that first sector, but Lucas Spurs just not able to carry that same confidence and commitment. But he's going to come through the 16 and 17 chicane and down the back straight that consists of 4 corners, but is still straight enough to hold a DRS zone, and he's down in that middle sector, just not hooking it all up. And in the 22-23 chicane, it's still looking nice. What's he going to be able to do towards the end of this lap? Because right now he's not finding anything that he needs to try and get that Alpine a bit further up the order and to try and match his teammates. One of the Ferrari is going slower as Viper goes on top with a 27.2, the pace of which we've only really seen from Hyper last week, just dominating the field entirely. Metal's had a scruffy lap. He's not going to be able to put anything together. Yari's just starting his next effort, as is Nathan. Gaffo coming to the end of his first sector. He's found 3/10 in the first sector, a 32.3. Will put him right up there in contention, using all the track through turn 13. It's what everyone needs. And he's going to come through 16 and 17. How well can he hook that up? He's right against the wall on the entry and the exit. How much pace does that Williams car have in it? There's a yellow flag just in front of very slow moving Haas, well out of the way. That must be Gidarachi, and he's lost a 10th in that middle sector. But what does he have now? Through 22 and 23. One of the hardest sections of track to nail and get all the time out of, just due to how high speed it is, and the DRS wide open now into the final corner. He has something special in him on this lap. Can he get it into the mid-27s? Because that's what he needs to feel confident for the final run, cutting as much as he can. It's only a 27.9, still puts him just in front of Richie. But by God, what a lap that was from Viper to find just that much more time. Nathan YU, we're on board with finding not really anything on this lap so far. What can he do as he exits the final corner? Will he just take it into the pit lane? He will, not able to find that time in his car. Yari, he did a 28.8, so not quite able to find the improvement. And Gidarachi actually just out of fuel. That's the reason he's not been able to do anything. Humber's just crossed the line to improve on his time and cuts turn 1. As we should have about 30 seconds of lull, I'd guess, before we start the final part of qualifying here in Jeddah. I do believe Pickle Alex got into the session, and he is, so. Thanks, Shamrock. Sorry I couldn't check that sooner. All the action trying to be covered. Gaffo on his in lap right now. He might just be marginal. But Yari doesn't have the fuel and likely won't be able to go again with the time left in this session. Humber, does he have the fuel? He does to go again. And he does look to be pushing, but this is an invalid effort. So Pumba may be out of qualifying at this point. Solar is on an outlap, and he's going to be the first person to start the final efforts here. As one of the V-Carbs, Pumba just flying past him. This has been a pretty rapid lap from Pumba, but he needs to box and get some new tyres, and I just don't think he has that time to get back into the pits. Solar now will be starting his final effort here in qualifying. How much more time does he have on that 29.8? As he comes down towards turn 1, nowhere near as brave on the brakes, nor as confident in the car through turn 1 and 2. McLaren in front of him just needs to make sure to get out of the way, and does nicely. Would have been living in Solar's mind there. And again, it just doesn't seem to have that same commitment that our front runners do here through this first sector, and he's a little bit deep on that curb, and that's thrown him wide. And does he have the fuel to go again? Because it'd be now to take that opportunity to back out and just be able to go again. As his teammate XD Tyler, who's had a disappointing session so far, will be our next driver to start his qualifying efforts. Out of the final corner, straightens up very centrally in the track. What's he got left in his car to bring himself further up the order? Surely plenty of time. How confident is he into that first corner? Looks very nice and neat for him. over both the curbs nicely, and the exit looked good as well. Towards turn 4 now. How confident is he? Any risk needs to be taken now, and this might be when we see drivers hitting that inside wall of turn 4. 40 seconds left in the session, so I believe that only leaves whoever's furthest back here really in trouble of starting another lap. End of the first sector. Tyler finally finding the time. 32.5 in his first sector. How much more does he have to give? Needs to keep it valid, but needs to find that pace all in one and through the right left of 15 and 16. He seemed to have held it nicely enough. Down the straight now towards the next major braking zone of 22 and 23. He's just got to pray that it all sticks. 1.5 seconds of improvement still from his Pumba is out of the session. Looks to have hit the wall on an exit. But Tyler now was the first driver to fully finish a qualifying lap as Tix and Yari unable to continue. Tix obviously with a disconnect in the session. Unfortunate for him not to be able to find any more time, but our first driver across the line will be Tyler. He gets up into the 28s. That's what he needed. Next across the line is going to be Richie. He's found a couple of tenths here, and that is going to be important for him. Got Bluefoot. He's found a couple tenths on his lap. His teammate is just ahead of him as well, having not done a lap. Jitarachi can't find the improvement. What can Bluefoot do? It's P5 for him. Looking down the order a bit, Viper is purple in that middle sector, and it doesn't look like any of the other drivers on laps apart from Fran are in front of him right now. So we're going to see Fran and Viper come across the line pretty much together. Fran 27-0 for him. Viper is just slightly down at the end of that middle sector. What can he do in his fight for pole here? Because this is his last opportunity. He can't find the time. He can't improve. Pickle Alex has found a 10th. What can he do now? Gaffo is just behind him on track, and this is going to be all or nothing for Pickle Alex. He can only find P5. What can Gaffo find? It's only P4 as we come to the end of qualifying. And the times fell, but the times fell best for Fran Bernoulli, starting on pole in his Aston Martin. Viper's going to be alongside him, providing plenty of competition, with Richie and Gaffo half a second off either of them. And I think that's going to be something looked at, because their pace miles ahead of the rest. Tix with an unfortunate disconnect, not able to improve, unable to get out the 130s. FaZe Monkey hit the wall on his effort while we were watching him. And the race will be extremely interesting, as I'm not sure if we will be having a restart, so confirmation will come shortly. But if not, the best strategies around here is a one-stop. It's very easy to get that one-stop together. But who's going to want to start on that medium and hope for a safety car? And who's going to want to start on that hard and just pray for the wait? Just pray that they can wait it out. Because I think if a safety car comes out before lap 7, that safety car is going to be isn't going to be perfect for either condition. But between about lap 7 and lap 12, if you're on a medium, taking a fresh hard to the end could be very easy for anyone involved. And it doesn't look like we will be having a lobby reset, so anyone who ran a purely qualifying setup, believing there might be one, is just unlucky, I suppose. But Fran Bernoulli will be on pole, and alongside him the Viper. But what can the V-Carbon Williams do on that second row? Can Bluefoot find some of his pace back? And what can the likes of Shano do from P9? Billy Wiz do from P12? As a few drivers are leaving the session now. So that's either I've disconnected or everyone has been told to leave. So just stand by on that. So yeah, we are lights out and away we go. We've got a few drivers actually driving, we've got a few drivers not driving. Loads of crashes, so I think, yeah, we are going to be calling a lobby reset here after everything. So I will be back with you shortly, once the lobby has hopefully been reset.
Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7! Oh Jesus Christ! The world champion is... Got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got a 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it on. Tomas gets pulled! Why has Rian retired? Abry's up to 7. Oh, Jesus Christ! The world champion. It's got 5 red lights, but oh my boss gotta send it. Oh, Tomas gets pulled. Why has Rian?
And we are back now. Getting ready for the race. Here in URC, a few technical difficulties trying to get a few people in where EA still can't make a good system to have people connect between the different platforms. But we are back waiting for everyone to select their tires right now. Good chunk of people picking the mediums currently. And we are already getting ready to go racing here. 4-5 red lights. And it is lights out and away we go. Solo's already jumped the start and Fran gets a good start. But Viper gets an even stronger one straight into the lead. Richie up to third. Pickle Alex trying to fight Gaffo for P4. They're 3 wide in the back there. And there's someone already around Pumba and FaZe Monkey backwards at turn 1. Jitarachi fighting it out towards the back and Bluefoot spins round. Already back down to P18 for the Ferrari man and Viper. Fran, Richie and Gaffo all getting away really well. Tix gaining 5 places off the rip. Solar gaining a couple as well. But Jitarachi, FaZe Monkey, Pumba and Bluefoot all with terrible starts here. And they're going to need to do a lot to recover this race. Lucas Spurs getting past a few drivers in the background. We have more yellow flags as Pumba is round again. Struggles already for the VCARB driver, who I'm sure is going to be having a talk with his team principal. Solar obviously needs to serve that drive-through penalty already, having Bluefoot on the back of him. But Viper with an immediate great start, and it's already a VSC as Pumba has Pumba'd himself into the wall. No front wing and out at turn 13. The virtual safety car out already. And we can take a quick look at what's gone on with the tyres. We've got the top 4 all on mediums. Pickle Alex electing for a hard tyre. Shano electing for the hard. Tix, Jitarachi and FaZe Monkey all on the hards, and I'm sure those two at the back regretting their decision already for hards. Both Hasses missing a front wing on lap 1 of the race in that chaos as in the background. They look to be battling already as the track goes green again. Nearly 3 wide into turn 1. Can Nathan get past Pickle Alex? They make contact. Pickle Alex losing the rear. The ghosting saving him, and Metal now is going to have a chance to get himself up to P6. Does he have that pace on the inside of turn 4? Pickle Alex managing to try and hold it through. Does he have the downforce in that car? Do those hards have the grip? They just about do as Metal goes very wide to try and keep the position. But Pickle Alex sideways on the exit, and that instantly gives up the position to Metal. Can John's boy do anything now through turn 13? Much more grip on those medium tyres. Gets through on his teammate, and Pickle Alex down to P8 on that VSC restart. While up in front, it's Fran and Viper running away with it, and Gaffo and Richie just don't have anything in response right now. Metal still already under pressure from John's boy. Just seems to have so much grip and confidence at this point in the race. What's he going to be able to do? Is it looked like he tapped that wall on the outside. That unsettles the car a lot and causes a hell of a lot of understeer. And John's boy now under pressure from his teammate, trying to pressurize Metal at the same time. The McLarens are wheel to wheel. It was almost 3 wide, and Pickle Alex diving up the inside of the final corner, but he goes miles too deep, and that's going to allow Metal back through quite quickly. What can John's boy do now? Capitalizing on the poor exit. XD Tyler in the background, also with the opportunity to go for a move. He's going to try and slot in. There's contact on the front of John's boy. Up the inside goes XD Tyler. He's going to have to hang it around the outside of turn 2. John's boy trying to look and get in on the fray as well, and Pickle Alex is backwards on the front of XD Tyler. Both of them dropping places. XD Tyler gets tapped by Vinny and is just losing time constantly as we go through the S's in Sector 1, and that is not what a lot of these drivers need. Trying to just get a look at someone's front wing here, see if anyone can keep it alive, as I think that's Tyler just so slow now. He's lost so much time with those issues, and yeah, he's missing half of that front wing already, a lot of it actually, and that is going to be a pain to drag around the entire circuit as Viper out in front, pulling that gap tremendously already from Fran. 1.5 seconds is the gap, but how much more battery has Viper had to commit to get that gap? And Gaffo with a good gap over Richie right now, looking to try and solidify his position. But now Metal after a great little restart, under pressure from Nathan YU. What can he do here? He's going to try and go clean around the outside of the final corner. I don't think Metal's going to fight it too much, but he backs out to get that second stab at the DRS against Metal. He's going to have DRS, he's going to have a great tone, he should have a decent bit of battery here. He's going to look up the inside of turn 1, and this should be easy for Nathan. Just hanging it down the inside, shoving Metal out to dry. And that's a free overtake really for Nathan. And now Metal having to worry about the McLaren behind us. That lag almost looked like a colossal accident between the Williams and the V-Carbs. Pickle Alex is out towards the back, and that is the full safety car route here on lap 4. What happened to Pickle Alex as far as I can tell? It looks like your classic turn 4 instant, just clipping that inside wall. And that is really going to help out the likes of Tyler, Archie, Solar and FaZe Monkey and Billy Wiz here. We've had to go for a stop again, just looking to see if we can see the debris on track. It looks like there's some skid marks into the Lando wall. Unfortunate for Pickle Alex so early on to have lost all that time. He's not said anything in the chat as of yet about what's gone on there, but hoping to hear something to see what happened. But now I think the real question is, do people make a pit stop here? Because a tyre advantage in this race is a tyre advantage regardless. As I'm just going to try get John's boy back into the lobby here. Viper in, Fran in, Gaffo, Richie, and I'm sure Nathan will also be in. I think the entire top 7 can go in. But what about Shano? He's kind of going to be a thorn in everyone's side right now, getting slowed up by the ghosted McLaren of John's boy, who's going to have to stay out here because of this disconnection. How many places can they make up here? It looks like they will come out ahead of Gaffo, but they might just about come out behind Fran. What is it on pit exit? It looks like Shayna might have just missed out, but John's boy, with his disconnection, given P2 in this race. And the question is, who's going to be able to take a set of hards to the end from here, as and when they need to? I think the big winner here, though, is Shano, gaining a good 5 places from not having to make that pit stop. Yari and Tix also gaining positions from this, and Tix especially just ahead of his teammate as it stands. So are there going to be team games played over in the Kick Sauber camp? That could be incredibly useful for them, having Tix implanted in the middle of the field. Can he defend well enough to allow Nathan to just pull away and fight his own battles. Yari and John's boy are going to struggle a little bit here, in my opinion, because that 4-lap tyre delta may not seem like much, but in terms of a race here where tyre wear's double that of real life, it could be huge. You could be losing half a second a lap easily because you've got 4-lap older tyres than anyone around you, even when it's a medium compared to a hard. But with the safety car out now, plenty of opportunities for everyone to do what they need. Take a look at pit stops already. Solar has done 3 pit stops in this race so far. And the only ones to have not committed to one yet is Johnsy Boy, who would have, I believe, if he didn't get that disconnection. Shano, who started on hards. Yari, who's trying something a little bit different to everyone, and Tix. Those hard tyre starters, though, probably in the best position right now in this race because they can extend their tyres to about lap 15, put on a new medium, and run those to the end. Where those on that hard, we saw an FA Baku yesterday. Those hards are a resilient tyre, but it's whether you can carry them to the end of a race. Because Caden Conway tried it from lap 3 with a bunch of safety cars and he couldn't. And I don't think the likes of Viper and Fran and Richie are going to be able to go slow enough and take little enough out of those tyres, take them to the end. Gaffo picking that medium, which is probably the most optimal strategy for him. He can take a couple sets of mediums to the end from here, but how much more pace could he have over the Alpine and Aston in front of him? We know Gaffo is good mates with Shano, probably in a party right now with Shano and Fran. So I'm certain that there'll be some sort of discussion in their party about who's getting out of the way for who in this race. On lap 6, I think our main delay under this safety car is going to be Solo, who just has a nice peaceful time right now to drive out in the back of this field and just keep his tyres at a good temperature. This could be an advantage for the Mercedes driver. It's whether he takes little enough out of the tyres and can catch that safety car queue before they decide to take it green. As I'm already being asked to invite team principals into the lobby to get them some advantages here. That does not happen here in URC. I was given it last week as a re-invite opportunity not to give my drivers an advantage. But Solar now, just driving his car nicely through the middle sector. Those tyres are well and truly up to temperature. Where if we compare to his teammate's tyres are ice cold, so even with a lap just right on the back of the safety car queue, I think the person to maybe make a move on this safety car restart is going to be Solar. It's a massive slowdown further forward in the field as Yari and Tick swap places momentarily, but everything seemed to bring itself back to order. And Solar now just keeping his tyres in check, not quite using full throttle. He's been burning a lot of battery as well to try and bring himself back up, so he should pretty easily make that entire battery delta back up, as I'd expect the entire field to be a none, to have a full battery. And that is exactly what we're seeing here, apart from a few. Shano and Gaffo, who I've told multiple times, put your battery in none under a safety car, using medium under their safety car, while not really trying to do any sort of brake dragging. Which, kind of disappointing, considering they asked me for advice about 5 minutes before this race. How do they use their battery? But this lap should be the final one behind the safety car as Solar rocks onto the back of the pack. No more incidents out there. Pickle Alex's car almost certainly given more than enough time to be cleared. And how much of a thorn in Fran's side Will John's boy be really warming up those tyres in the background? As any moment now we should see the call for a safety car to come in. But this is looking very late for that call, and it is on the back straight. The field will be brought to control by Viper. The safety car marching off towards the pit lane. And Viper desperate for any temperature he can get into those tyres. They don't look too great right now. Low 60s. And we're going to see into the final corner now. How early does Viper want to launch this field? He's going to take that wide line. He's going to launch it straight off the final corner. Surely no. Keeps it going. John's boy went a bit early. A lot of guys towards the back going slightly early. But it is back to green here in Jeddah. And John's boy with a great launch on the restart. His tyres coming up a little bit faster, but into turn 1 they go. Nothing coming of it. Towards in the background, there's a battle between Lucas Spurs and Tix on the restart. Tix with damage to his front wing, not able to really do anything for his teammate, but Metal now going to be held up the entire way through that first sector. If Tix can keep it on the track, Solar pulls into the pit lane again, and Tix with his damage not in a great spot. Gaffo is all over the back of John's boy here, and surely just going to cleanly sweep around the outside of the McLaren driver on a much fresher medium tyre that's not had to deal with a full heat cycle. And he is through and clear to chase after Fran here, and maybe get on the back of Viper towards the end of this race. As further back, Shano now under a lot of pressure from Richie here. Again, one of the drivers who kept his tyres on in that safety car, and in this first couple laps they might start to falter, and Shano in that Red Bull just under so much pressure from Richie in the junior car. But Gaffo further forward has already closed 4 tenths on Fran just in that middle and start the final sector. What's he going to be able to do now, as Richie has dove up the inside of Shano, and Shano has to concede the position? Can he get it back on a toe alone? He looks to be trying to, and he might well easily clear Richie here into turn 1. They are going to go wheel to wheel. Richie giving Shano the squeeze towards the exit, and Shano looked like a little bit of contact on the front, giving Sir Nathan New a chance to try and go for it. Nothing coming of it right now. Nathan getting it immensely close as Lucas Spurs making a little mistake through turn 4 and 5. And now it's going to be wheel to wheel between himself and Metal. Metal comes out worse. And that's allowed Bluefoot through on the Williams driver. And that is not what he needed, trying to make up places in this race. Further back, Tix in the pits, getting a new front wing. But out in front, Gaffo just trying to get himself towards Fran, who looks to have finally got his tyres up to temperature. The two Ferraris swapping places in 9th and 10th. Which one of them is going to be faster at this point in the race? And Gaffo getting dragged along nicely here by Fran as Richie clears John's boy. Can John's boy fight back? It doesn't look like it with that grip. Losing 4 tenths in that corner alone to Richie's fresh hard tyres. It's not what he needed, and Gaffo just still trying to fight to keep that DRS on Fran while his tyres are in any sort of condition. Further back though, the battles continuing on. Nathan getting past Shano. Lucas Spurs is going to be taking a look at Shano, and Shano is going to be taking a look back at Nathan. Nathan got a great run off that final corner. They all trying to save a little bit of battery here. And Shano looked to dive up the inside. Can't really do anything in the background. Yari trying to look to do things against WTech 7 Vinny. Can't do anything, but XD Tyler, Gitarachi and Billy Wiz all in one little kerfuffle here. There was a little bit of contact, I think it's the inside wall of turn 4. And there's a Ferrari very wide. Bluefoot losing many positions, and I think he's damaged his front wing in that first sector, still somehow managing to get oversteer despite all that is happening. And down towards turn 13, Gitarachi's going to take a look down the inside. Can he hang it up the inside? Bluefoot missing half a front wing, can't hang it on the outside, putting him under pressure from Billy Wiz, who's going to easily get past. And next up on the list of predators is going to be XD Tyler, who just has that much more grip down Bluefoot, and cleanly and easily gets through as everyone here trying to battle. Shano and Jitarachi are going to go wheel to wheel down towards turn 22 and 23, and that's ended poorly. Jitarachi spun round in turn 22, and that's going to lose him plenty of time as we come in to lap 10 of this race. Lap 11, sorry, as Viper maintaining his lead and Gaffo sticking along pretty handily with the top two, looking to try and get a podium here after a disappointing race in round 1 at Silverstone. Can Vinny do anything against Lucas Spurs? No, but in the background, XD Tyler trying to take a look at Yari as Bluefoot, he's going to pull into the box. If he has a fresh set of hards, which he does, that should be taking him to the end now, provided there's no safety car interventions. Remember, everyone, because of a lobby reset, has a full set of 3 to 4 brand new soft tyres, which could be very interesting if there is a late safety car, as Yari and XD Tyler swapping places in that first sector. Yari looking to be struggling a little bit at the moment. Both Ferraris not having a great race so far. Bluefoot, who looked so strong the other day when he was racing Baku in FA, has just fallen into absolutely nowhere so far in this race. He needs a safety car to get himself back into it. But Shano now needs to try and keep XD Tyler behind, and Tyler really not wanting to make a move before this next straight, just pushing Shano along that straight. And now surely the move just going to be completed. It should be easy for Tyler. DRS in a slipstream, but still just hanging on behind Shano. How much time is this losing as Tyler dives to the inside? Much fresher hards for the Mercedes driver. Shano just managing to out-traction him on that exit. I'm wondering if Tyler is truly just out of battery here. He nearly is. That's why he's struggling to clear Shano here, despite having much better tyres, as John's boy and Nathan towards the front are having a fight, and John's boy is sent spinning into the infield. It's another incident at turn 4, and John's boy gonna get passed by Shano, maybe get ghosted through by Tyler, not quite. And that is not working out for the McLaren man so far this race, as his pit window is going to be soon approaching. Or how long does he want to extend these tyres to maybe go for just a soft at the end? Which to me just sounds absolutely ridiculous. Nathan YU though, after that incident with John's boy, starting a little bit of a train now. Got 3 drivers right behind him now looking to absolutely send it, and the first one on the list is going to be Lucas Spurs, who's fighting Metal right now into 22 and 23. You don't want to go wheel to wheel through there. Metal though, with a much better exit. Lucas Spurs nearly shoved into the wall. Metal happily clears Lucas Spurs and now has all the prerogative to go after Nathan Yu. Dives up the inside of Nathan and is going to try and make this position up. Who has DRS? Unfortunately for Metal, it is Nathan. But does Metal have more battery to use? Not quite. Vinny clearing Lucas Spurs, or trying to at least, as Lucas Spurs and Vinny are going to have to battle this out now towards turn 4, and Lucas Spurs is a smart man. He's not going to go wheel to wheel into turn 4. Johnsy boy pulls into the pits for what I can only assume is a hard tyre now to try and take to the end. But we're going to continue on with this battle up front. Billy Wiz and Shano now, the Red Bull teammates P9 and P10, together on track, and surprisingly now, 2 drivers right next to each other as Tyler's had a spin in that first sector. It's not going to do any of his tyres good, but Viper and Fran up front pulling 3 seconds on Gaffo currently. So can they maintain that pace to the end, as Viper's just made a mistake maybe? Fran gaining a lot more to Viper. Fran with a little bit more battery to play around with to try and get this gap down and maybe take an opportunity to go for the race lead here. He's 1.2 behind. We're going to keep an eye on how that gap keeps dropping. Nathan New has managed to pull some gap, but in the background, Vinny and Lucas Spurs going at it again, and Vinny just sliding out of that final corner. Can't find the traction, but he's going to have a superb toe on the back of Lucas Spurs. But both of them with very minimal battery left. Is there going to be a move into turn 1? Nothing can come of it as it stands. John's Boy and Solar towards the back exchanging positions, but both of them currently kind of nowhere in this race unless everyone needs to make another pit stop. As we get to the end of Sector 1 with Viper and Fran. And Fran just inching that gap ever closer. Just every exit finding a little bit, and then Viper just using that battery wisely enough to keep that gap over a second. Could he do it there? Does Fran have that DRS on Viper? Not quite yet. But still all the time in the world, and Viper much worse off on battery and goes slightly wide. That is a 3-second time penalty now for Viper. That is huge. In the context of this race, Viper now really under pressure because he has to pull that 3-second gap over Fran, or he is not winning this race whatsoever. Or rather than going to attempt maybe a pit stop here to try and get the ball rolling with them. I know someone who's coming into the pits, that's Gaffo, and I'm sure Richie will want to follow, but does stay out for the time being. As this battle slightly further behind, WTech 7 Mini falling just out of DRS in that final corner, as Jitarachi and XD Tyler are going wheel to wheel on the exit of the final corner. FaZe Monkey pulls into the pits to make another pit stop. Neither driver with DRS on this straight. Who's going to be able to make a move? No one there. As Gaffo comes out just ahead of Shano and Billy Wiz there. Which is very ideal for the Williams men's race. And he needs to get a wriggle on here to try and close himself back in. He's on a fresh hard tyre. That will be pushed all the way now to the finish. And as soon as that warms up, he'll be making huge inroads on that battle ahead. Aiming hopefully, I think, for a P3. With the tyre advantage just being so. But Fran all over the back now of Viper, taking a warning in turn 23 there. On his track limits with a very poor exit, not quite able to get himself on the back of Viper so far. But in the final corner, what can he do? His line looks so much better, and Vinny and Viper with terrible traction. This is surely a move for the lead for Fran. He'll have the battery, he has the DRS, and he is through on Viper into turn 1. And that makes Fran's life magnitudes easier, as he now only has to worry about keeping Viper behind him put to the very end. And I was given a message by the VCARB team principal that I've only just read slightly earlier in the race, saying, hey, I know we're the little sister, but it would be nice if Shayna would get out of the effing way. From our VCARB team principal, ST, who's clearly not very happy with how things were handled between the top team and the middle team. And from what I can see, Richie may be pitting lap 18 for a set of mediums. We'll have to see if Gaffo's going to have that big of an undercut, because he's already demolished that gap as Fran taps the wall. Unusual mistake from the Aston driver. But Gaffo is closing just slowly but surely into the DRS of Vinny. We've got a yellow flag in the first sector. Looked like maybe a little spin for Tix, as Viper is going to make the jump for a fresh tyre, and Fran needs to either know he can stick this out to the end or really put in a proper Max Verstappen-esque lap now on his in-lap. Richie continues on What is Viper pitting onto is the question. Viper's got a fresh hard to go for. And Gaffo proving that his strategy's worked out nicely, because he's undercut Viper by a heap of a margin here. So that is extremely ideal for the Williams driver, who surely just needs his teammate to get out of the way at this point, because his teammate can get in the lead. Gaffo needs to try and take the lead here if he wants to win this race, and Metal Medal on much older hard tyres, not budging for his teammate, and I'm sure the comms are going crazy between them. And ST has messaged me, pit lap 18 on mediums, thinking it was to Richie. Thank you for strategyleaks.com. But now, Gaffo surely just clean through on his teammate, who pulls right out the way. That's nice from him, but Viper is close 3 seconds to this train on this lap. This has hampered Gaffo majorly, who just needs to clear the likes of Sir Nathan Yu now to have any chance in this race. Fran Bernoulli pulls into the pits. He has a fresh medium to go on to. Gaffo into the final corner. Does he have the battery? He has enough, it looks like, just for one move. Sir Nathan pulling into the pit lane now. So Richie is going to lead. Where's Fran coming out? We're going to be on board with him. And Fran managing to maintain the lead from Gaffo, and then Viper, who's had something go incredibly wrong for him. And now Richie out in front, supposedly to be boxing this lap, as everyone seems to be jumping into the pits to make a final pit stop at this stage. And who's going to be the big winner here, as Gaffo makes a huge mistake in the S's. Holds it back onto the track. Hopefully didn't get a warning there, but that's allowed Viper right back in to the DRS after he's already set a purple first sector. This is going to be an easy move for Viper, but the question is, how long do those mediums take to be slower than a hard at this point? Because Fran out in front looks like he could dominate. And even worse news for Viper, he hits the wall on the exit of turn 16. And that is likely it for Viper's chances, because he's missing an end plate there, and that around this sort of circuit where you're already running such low downforce is going to cause so much pain. Can he get by Gaffo here, or is that reduction in downforce in the dirty air already going to be causing a struggle for the Alpine driver? It looks pretty clear to me that Viper will get past Gaffo, but how much is this downforce reduction going to hurt the Alpine driver, who locks his rears into turn 1, but does take the position over Gaffo, who is going to try it back on Viper into turn 4, but he can't quite make anything happen. But now it's all on Viper, missing half an end plate to go after the race leader Fran on a fresh medium, who is going to be happier than anyone if he gets the news from Gaffo that Viper has wing damage. Richie comes out in P4 with that medium. As we said, he'd be boxing the previous lap, and he'll be able to take that nicely to the end. Can he close the gap now down to Gaffo, who's on much older tyres, as Tix does disconnect? It's not ideal, but disconnections, unfortunately, as we said before, are a part of EA's terrible code to not be able to maintain a decent network connection. What can Metal Medal do against Sir Nathan Yu? Surely nothing on this straight. Surely you don't want to go for it on this straight. But surely Vinny wants to go for it, as Richie is in the wall at the exit of here. What has happened? It looks like he's just backwards. We couldn't see anything, but this is going to be interesting. Viper dives for the pits. Gaffo obviously diving for the pits, and they have that gap to Nathan, who is in P3. What are the tyres going on? Viper, fresh soft. What does Gaffo want? He's got a fresh soft. That is times, and I'm getting some very great requests here. Penalties on the screen for everyone. Ferrari's team principal, the one that wanted to know. And Ferrari team with the most penalties on the grid. Which is very unfortunate. Let's take a look at the tyres for who's going for what. It's softs for Gaffo and Viper, which will be great to start up. Richie setting up the absolute cinema here. Jake with the OF me in the chat after looking at his pens. Gary sticking it out on 8-lap-old hards, which is not going to be ideal for Ferrari. They're looking on the verge of scoring no points today for the team principal that's been most active in the chats. I do apologize to you, Jake. Screaming about soft tyres on everyone's cars. His words, effing softs, are we dead ass? And wondering why Yari hasn't made a pit stop. I think the Discord chat is more cinema than anything right now. The team principal saying, effing softs, are we dead ass? Yari pit, why is our strat team like IRL? Which only tells you really one thing in this situation. As Tix pits onto 8-lap-old hards. I think that's his AI doing that. Lord knows what the AI is thinking. It's worse than the real-life Ferrari strategies. Is Yari going to pull into the box at the end of that lap? No, he's not. So, as it stands, Fran on 2-lap pushed mediums. Nathan, Metal, WTech 7 Mini on equal age tyres to Fran. Yari on 9-lap-old hards, which is making his team principal the more level of happy than you could ever imagine. Shano and XD Tyler on 4-lap-old mediums, and Tix on 8-lap-old hards. The rest of the field on a fresh soft tyre. That lobby reset helping all of them to be very happy to go for a mega sprint to the end. They should have 4 or 5 laps of racing action on those softs. Might be getting the thoughts from Tim here as his team is in 9th and 16th. The Mercedes team principal's thought is, Lord have a mercy on my mental. But it's really now a fight between Gaffo and Viper, I think, for this win. I think Fran is going to fall off pretty quickly on that safety car restart. Might have a chance to pull it back towards the end, but getting a tyre refired through a heat cycle is very difficult in this game. You just lose so much time and grip, even if they're only a couple laps old. Once they've gone up and down on that temperature, the grip is never the same for the driver. So what is Fran going to have to keep that car around in front against what is some extremely tough competition? Safety car will stay out for one more lap. We'll take another look at the penalties just for both Tim and Jake's thoughts here. We've got Yari having a 3-second and Bluefoot having a 3-second after serving his 10-second in the pits. And for the Mercedes man of Tim, his team with 6 seconds on XD Tyler and 10 seconds on Solar, I think. Solar does get the medal of the most pit stops made in this race. If we go take a look at the detail here, Solar has made 5 stops so far this race, which I have to say is very impressive. The only guys still on a 1-stop somehow are Yari and Shano. But Yari's tyre is just that much worse than either of the guys around him on that 1-stop strategy. Jake saying, we were in such a good position, the messiah of myself put Yari on a great stray, and he effed it up. Clearly, Ferrari didn't do any discussions about what to do under a late safety car in this race. Most of the other teams just use their common sense. We're going to see Jari falling harder than a brick of steel off the top of Mount Everest into the Mariana Trench at this point, as we should expect to hopefully see the safety car in at the end of this lap. Tix's car still driving around disconnected towards the back, seeing if we can get him maybe back in, or if he's just given up on the game, and I think that answer's made pretty clear by my friends list. And we have classics in the chat, such as Kermit jumping off a roof in Discord from Jake, the Ferrari team principal, I think accepting at this point that points are not happening for his team, as the safety car will be in this lap, and it's down to Fran now to control the pace. A quick look at the standings, obviously Hyper no longer racing, so it is very likely that Fran will take the lead if he can stay like this. But both Gaffo's in a good spot to take the lead, but Viper on his first race, not able to do anything. So when is Fran going to launch? He's launched into the final corner, it looks like. And we are going to be going racing. He launched momentarily, slammed on, and goes again now. Onto the main straight we go to start lap 23. It is 3 laps of racing left here in Jeddah and into turn 1. Fran managing to keep his position. John's boy gaining a position already on XD Tyler. Fran struggling on those tyres. Remember, Viper with a 3-second time penalty, which will make it all the more harder for him to win this race. Through in the middle sector, Jari and Shayna battling for position, and John's boy going clean round the outside of the two of them. In to the middle sector they go, and John's boy now up position Shayna. And one of the Ferraris, I think that's Jari, dropping positions. Jari down to 12th, and Bluefoot is going to clear his teammate with much fresher tyres. Lucas Spurs getting past XD Tyler now, and Jitter Archie wanting the piece of that action as well. Those fresh softs really firing up and causing many struggles for anyone who didn't take them. And back out in front, Viper and Gaffo still maintaining relatively close to Fran here. Viper all over the back of Gaffo though. What can he do? Because Gaffo, realistically, if that safety car restart is investigated, is in with the best chance of winning this race, as Bluefoot and Tyler are both out. And we're not going to be able to see that instant, but we're going to go back out in front. Viper is going to take a look around the outside of Gaffo. Gaffo holds it nicely through the final corner. Can he get the traction? It looks decent enough. Already, messages in the chat about Bluefoot and Tyler's instant. Viper with a 30.4 reopening lap here. And Gaffo sticking nice and close to the back of Fran here. And they really need to keep going with this. And Bluefoot really annoying his team principal now, as the only guy who really had a chance to score points for Ferrari, as Jari is on his ancient tyres at this point. Both Mercedes and Ferrari not scoring points at this point, it looks like, as Gaffo has maintained his gap to Fran on this lap, and Viper dropping a little bit back. Fran out in front, just trying to control the pace and pull away now. We're going to have plenty of shouting after this race from Tim and Jake, I think, as both of them very unhappy with their drivers. Gaffo not quite able to get the run into that corner of turn 16, but gets a good run out of 17 and pulls a little bit of that gap now to Viper. What can he do to maybe just threaten Fran in this final sector and onto the final lap, because that's what he really needs. Who has the better battery condition? It is Gaffo as it stands, but both of them are going to be really tight on battery. Does Viper have anything really left to give? No, he doesn't. So this is all down now really to Viper, to Fran versus Gaffo, and Gaffo with a great exit off the final corner. What's he going to be able to do down towards turn 1? He's just harvesting that battery as it stands. Sticks right behind Fran into turn 1, and just now needs to hold it together for the final lap. WTech7 Vinny and John's boy wheel to wheel into turn 1. John's boy having to cut turn 1. Will he have to give that position back as he's up to P6? Surely he will, and he does. very nicely give that position back. But we've still just got to focus on the two up in front. Fran, who has led pretty much most of the race here. And Gaffo, who's just sat back and with this final safety car been given a great opportunity to have one final pounce against the Aston Martin driver. As we're going to see now, coming towards turn 16 and 17, who gets the better run here? Between the two of them, it looks like Fran better in, and just slightly better out for Gaffo, but Fran burning the battery now. As is Gaffo, they're both going to be perfect on their battery amounts, but who's going to have that better top end through turn 22 and 23? Fran with a much better run through those corners. They're going to be burning everything they have now on this final lap. Towards the final corner they go. Gaffo closing in immensely, but just doesn't quite have enough to get right on the back of Fran. Does he get a better exit than Fran? He can't quite. So on track, it is going to be Fran Bernoulli on top in Aston Martin to win in Saudi Arabia. Gaffo comes home second, followed by Viper, Nathan, Metal Medal, John's Boy gets 6th on the line with penalties. Lucas Spurs 7th, Vinny 8th, Shano 9th on penalties. Chidarachi 10th, Yari gets up to 11th, but drops a bunch of places. And we'll have to review those final couple of spots as we get to the end of the podium celebration. And that incredible final few laps, all started by Richie, unfortunately out of the race, and a blue-foot in Yari instantly called to the principal's office. A very unhappy Jake in the Ferrari cam, a very unhappy Tim in the Mercedes cam. But anything could change after the race. I think everyone quite happy here with what went down. But the top three to be celebrated, they've all had incredible races with incredible consistency. It's Fran Bernoulli on top, Gaffo in second, Viper third, Nathan fourth, and Metal fifth. As I will, for the sake of Shamrock here, grab all of this lovely race director with all the instance in the world. Shano somehow got cleanest driver, so kudos to him. But that has been one incredible URC event here in the circuit of the Jeddah Corniche. Next week will be Kota for the final round before we have a Christmas break here. The Circuit of the Americas much wider and much more forgiving, but much easier to have an instant on. Just But that will be it for today's stream. We will see you in round 3 next week, hopefully, with a re-Wi-Fi'd Sham.